Hello, hi everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Okay, so quickly let's start the session. So let me recall what we discussed yesterday. So yesterday we discussed regarding the master data. First of all, we discussed regarding what is master data and what is transaction data. And we understood what is the definition of master data and transaction data, which all material or supplier or information of purchase, all these are master data. So what we said, one second. Sorry. And what is transaction data? And transaction data is the data wherever we place an order or whenever you're doing a transaction between one person to other person, then those type of data is called as a transaction data. So master data can be a material, for example, wherever you have the information of the material like product code, name, and it is having a specification, then that part is called as a master data. So we also said that in master data, we have 6 types of different master datas. One is the material master, where material master is going to have a bunch of materials. It can be 1,000 materials or 10,000 materials, depends on the business size. Same goes with supplier master. So if business is having different suppliers from where they are procuring or purchasing the material, those all suppliers are considered as the supplier master. Then we have the source list. Source list is nothing but from where the material is getting sourced or who is the supplier for that particular material. One material can have multiple suppliers. So all the vendors or all the suppliers are the source for that material. Then we have the purchase info record. So purchase info record is nothing but, as I mentioned, we should read it from right to left. So it is a record where it is going to store the purchasing information. It is going to store the past information, past purchase order information. And whenever you're placing a new purchase order, system will recommend saying that when we place a purchase order in the previous, we placed to this supplier to this price, and supplier has delivered in this date, so that the information is getting recorded somewhere, so that we can use that information in the future purpose. Then we have the service master. Service master is nothing but a bunch of services. You can take all the services which are provided by Urban Club as a service master. Okay. Then we have the quota management. So you said quota management is not used now in SAP. All the business has stopped using quota management, but it is a part of SAP now. The quota management is nothing but dividing the requirement into different categories and providing it to the suppliers or to different suppliers. The main advantage of this quota management is you will receive the stock as soon as possible. But there are a lot of disadvantages also. The quality issue, and the material has different dimensions compared to the when you buy from single vendor, it is going to be same every time. When you're buying from different vendors, it may be having a small slight dimension changes. So to avoid this, the business stopped using the quota management. Okay. And then we started discussing regarding the material master, which was the main topic yesterday. And we said that in material master, the two important terminologies are material type and the material group. So material type are nothing but categorizing the materials. into different sections so that whenever you're creating a material, we can analyze which material is what category. And it is also used for reporting purpose. And when you're categorizing the material, you can also differentiate the accounts from which account you need to pay for this type of material. If you're having all the materials in a single material type, you will not be able to differentiate that part. So if business is having a requirement that they need to pay, for example, raw material needs to be paid using one account and semi-finished material needs to be paid in another account, that can happen only when you differentiate using a material type. Then you have the material group. Material group is subcategory of the material type. So whenever we are categorizing the material type, we can also categorize the material types again into material groups, but that is going to be an individual component. And we also saw that there are standard material types which are available in SAP. So those are listed down here, which is raw material, which is called as ROH, semi-finished material, which is HALB. So if you say raw material is nothing but whenever you purchase the material, for example, if you take an example of construction-based industry, you're going to purchase the sand, cement, all those things. So you are starting the business with this raw material. If you are a manufacturing industry, you should always start purchasing this raw material and get that converted to the semi-finished or finished. Semi-finished are nothing but using this raw material, you are going to do a manufacturing and get the semi-finished goods. And finished material is nothing but it is ready for sale now. If you take an automobile industry, your metal is going to be a raw material. Converting that metal into a clutch plate or a brake lever is a semi-finished material. And assembling all those into assembling section and making it a finished material so that you will be able to sell. So that part is called as finished material. Then you have the trading material. Trading material is nothing but you are not manufacturing the material. You are asking some other person to manufacture the material and you are getting it from the vendor or supplier and you are putting your brand label here and selling it. If we take other example, take an example of dairy farm. So you buy milk from farmer, for example. So farmer provide you the milk in liters and you're buying it from liters. It comes to your factory and you pack the milk into half-liter packets and you're selling the packets. So when you buy the material from vendor, you are not selling it directly to the customer. You are doing some work on it. So when you buy milk from vendor, you are packing it. So packing is one of the activity which you're doing in your factory. So those type of materials are called trading materials. Then we have the operating suppliers. Operating suppliers are nothing but consumables. You are not going to store that material in your warehouse as well as you are not going to sell that material. You are buying that material for your own use. Okay. Then you have the spare parts. Spare parts are nothing but ERSA. So spare parts can be you are manufacturing it and packing it with an MRP, or you are buying from some other vendor and getting that with the packing MRP. If you are selling a spare part separately, then it is called as a spare part. It is also considered as a finished material, but just to differentiate, it is called as spare parts. Then we have the services. As I mentioned, all the activities what you have in the urban club can be considered as services. Then we have the non-valuated material. Non-valuated material are nothing but the free of cost goods. Some suppliers will send you a sample material for manufacturing purpose, saying that this is the material which we manufacture, so you can check our samples. So samples are not purchased. Samples are given for free of cost. So for free of cost, also you place a purchase order and take the goods into stock, but those goods doesn't have value. Okay. Then we have the non-stock material. Non-stock material are nothing but the rentals. So getting a rent without stock, you are getting the money. You don't have stock, but you have value. So those type of materials are called non-stock material. Then we discuss regarding the different views in SAP for material master. So basic data 1 and basic data 2 is going to hold the basic information like description, the gross weight, net weight, all those things, the weight information, the basic information. Then you have the sales data. So whenever you're selling this material, for example, finished material, spare parts, you need to sell that material. Whenever you need to sell that material, you need to maintain the sales view. So you don't want to maintain the sales view, the SD people or the sales and distribution people will maintain the sales view for that particular materials. Then we have the international trade, import and export. So these views are used whenever you're doing an import and export of that material. Then you have the purchasing view. So purchasing view is very important for procurement. So without this purchasing view, you will not be able to procure the material. Then you have this costing view and accounting view. So costing view is maintained by the controlling team and the accounting team is maintained by the finance people. Okay. Then you have the warehouse management, packing and handling. So this is used for how are we going to pack the material, which is using which packaging material. So this is handled by EWM. Then we also discussed which view is used for which material type. And we discussed it detailedly. So this is the front-end part of material. And we also saw how to create a material. To create a material, we use the transaction MM01. And we also saw some more transactions yesterday. To create the material, we use MM01. To change the material, we use MM02. To display the material, we use MM03. And if you want to see a list of materials which are created by you or the material which are listed under your plant, you can go to the transaction MM60. So this is what we discussed yesterday. So this is the front end part. When I say front end part, we understood that what is material type, what is material group, what are views, okay, and why these views are used and where these views are used. So even this information an end user should know. So whenever a business is implementing SAP, as a consultant, you need to train the end users saying that this is the material master and these are the important things we have in material master. Now, till now we have seen in the perspective of end user. Now let's start thinking or working as a consultant. Let us work as a consultant from now. So now I'm going to the backend. So backend is completely a part of consultant. So what a consultant does in this topic of material master. So first thing what a consultant does in the material master is he is going to discuss with business and ask, these are the standard material types we have in SAP. Apart from this, do you prefer to have any other material types? Do we differentiate the material type apart from this? Do we need any other material type so that we can differentiate the material into different sections? So based on this question, the business will answer saying that they might have a requirement of differentiating the material into different category, or they might not have. If they don't have any requirement of differentiating the materials into different category apart from standard SAP, then there is no role of consultant there. Suppose if there is a requirement, so business need to differentiate the material into different category apart from the SAP standard material types. Then consultant is going to create the material type and maintain the configuration or design for that. So the first thing what a consultant does if the requirement comes for creating a material type is he is going to create the material type. Okay. Then yesterday when we created the material number came automatically. How that material number came automatically? So the number range. Then when we created a material yesterday, we saw a field called old material number, and that field was mandatory. Why that field was mandatory? So field selection. Saying system, which field is mandatory or which field is optional. So these are the three important configuration what a consultant is going to do for material types. To see it is just three. Sorry. To see it is just three steps. But under these three steps, you have a lot of things to do. Okay. So let's start and create a material type for us. I'll log into SAP. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask. Then we can start with the backend process. Any questions? Okay, if no questions, then let me start doing the design. As I mentioned before, the configuration or the design will always happen in the transaction SPRO. So I'll go to the transaction SPRO. So material master configuration is going to happen in the logistics general. So we did the enterprise configuration in the enterprise structure. So we need to do the material master configuration in the logistics general. So I'll expand this logistics general. In this logistics general, you will find this material master. So if I expand this, so the set of configuration is going to happen here. So the first thing, here you have the basic settings. Go to this basic settings, and here you have this configuration nodes. So these are the important configuration nodes. But all these are not done by us. So SAP has done some and in a standard. For example, if I go to output format, so material number length is 18 here. So this is one of the important interview question I can tell. So initially when we had this S4 HANA, ECC S4 HANA, one second. Initially we had this S4 HANA, we had an option called ECC. So SAP ECC. SAP started their journey with SAP ECC and then they converted to S4 HANA. So I explained this part in the introduction session. What is ECC and what is S4? If you're not aware, then go and check that video once. So in ECC, it is the main important thing. In SAP ECC, the material number length was 18 digit. The material number length was 18 digit. Now in S4 HANA, SAP has advanced and they have maintained the material number length as 40 characters. So in ECC, it was 18 characters. In S4 HANA, it is 40 characters. But still in S4 HANA also we use this 18 characters because the number range length is 18 digits. So for example, if you open Excel, so if business has a requirement that their material number length should be 10 digits. So for example, this is the requirement. They want 10 digit. Then they need to come here in the output format and change this material number length to 10. But this can be done only once. If they decide that material number length is going to be 10 digit, all the materials which are created in the business are going to be only 10 digit. Going forward, you cannot increase it or you cannot decrease it. So it is going to be a standard. So that is the reason SAP is maintaining 18 digit characters. So if you maintain 18 digit, so system will allot the material number length as 18 digit. And then you can control the material number length in different sections. Now, for example, when I create a material, if I show and create a material, it is set as 18 digit now. If I go and create a material now, I'll select ROH, for example. There is an issue with material ledger. Okay. If you see here, if I use a finished material, the material number is 8084. 8084. But my number length is 18 digit here. I have material number length as 18 digit, but still I have a material number creating as 4 digit. So how is this possible? So this can be controlled using your number range. So I said in configuration, you have three sections. One is creating the material type. One is maintaining the number range. So you can control using your number range. So this material number length will not make any impact. You can have below this, but you cannot have above this. If I maintain 10 here, you can have the material number length as 10 maximum, but it cannot be more than 10 digit. So SAP has preferred to keep it as 18 digit as of now. So even in all the business, we are using 18 digit. Okay. Now, next thing is, let me skip this as of now. Let me go here. Now you have this lexicographical. Lexicographical is nothing but always having an numeric value. So whenever you're creating a material, your material number should be always numeric. You cannot have alphabet or you cannot have alphanumeric anything. So if you execute this, then your material will always be a number. It is only going to be number. So for example, if I click this and save, system will throw an error because there are already some materials which are created with alphabets. If I save this, so system is giving an error here. Numeric material number already exists in system. You cannot check this. So that is the reason whenever you get a system from SAP or whenever you start building or designing the SAP, so these are the options you need to keep in your mind. So first thing, whenever you come to configure material master, you need to discuss with business and decide what is the material number length. First thing, and decide this and maintain this over here. This can be done only once. You can do it later on, but it is going to impact the materials which are already created. Second thing, lexicographical. If you want to check this, if business wants to have only alphanumeric or alphabet, business wants to create the material with alphanumeric or alphabet, then this needs to be enabled. If you don't want to create a numeric material, once the numeric material is created, you will not be able to check this. Okay. Then you have this leading zeros. Leading zeros are nothing but a prefix. Now, when I create a material, the material number is 8084, but my material number length is 18. So to fulfill my condition from business is always my material number length should be 18 digits or 18 characters. Now I have only 4 characters, but business requirement is always to have 18 characters. So you can have a prefix zeros. In front of your material number, you can put zeros. If I enable this leading zeros and save, if I activate this leading zeros and save, and if I try to create a material now, let's check what happens. I go back. I don't save this. You can see here the material number length got increased because initially you had only these 4 characters, but my business requirement is to always have the 18 digit. So I activated the leading zeros. So it gave me the prefix of these zeros in front of material number. There are 14 digits. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 zeros coming in front of the material number so that it is justifying the business condition, saying that it should always have 18 digit and your material number is always going to be 8085. Okay, that is an option what we have in our material master configuration. So that is the leading zeros. So we discussed regarding three sections. One is the material number length, lexicographical, and the leading zeros. Now we skipped one more thing, which is material number template. So assume that now we have this number, we have 18-digit number. This is the number of the material now. Okay. So business is also having another requirement that whenever I create a material, I need to have a template. So my first 4 digit should be my company code. My second 4 digit should be my plant. So let me take a real example scenario. Okay, my next 4 digit should be my material type. Then I should have my material number. So 4, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this is the requirement. So business is asking, I need a template. Whenever I create a material type, whenever I create a material, my number should get generated in this way. A template should get generated. First 4 digits should be a company code. Next 4 digits should be a plant. The other next 4 digits should be an material type. Then the other 4 digits should be my material code. In this case, you need to maintain the template. So how to maintain the template? So to maintain the template in the same config, you need to put the underscore. When you put underscore, when you put this underscore symbol, then that means you are going to input the value there. Then I'm going to put a hyphen. Again underscore, hyphen, underscore, hyphen. This is the template. So in this way, you can create a template and save. So I'm creating a template and saving it. I go one step back. Okay, now I try to create a material again. Now I don't have anything here. I have just directly a number. Now if I go to MM01, basic data 1 and 2. Now if you see, there is a template. So these are the three important functions in this output format. First thing, we need to decide the material number length. We need to decide the template. We need to decide the material number is going to be alphanumeric or numeric. If it is going to be alphanumeric, then you need to enable this lexicographical. Once the numeric number is created, you will not be able to enable this lexicographical. That is very important. Then we have this leading zeros. Leading zeros are going to map your business requirement. If business wants to see 18 digits, then you will get 18 digit. If you don't want, if the business does not have requirement of having 18 digit, it can have 1 to 18. Anything is fine. Then you can uncheck this. And we have this material number template. So this material number template will help you to manage the template of the material number. Okay. So as of now, I prefer everyone to keep this material number length as 18, not to change this. Play with leading zeros, that is your wish. And also please don't have this material number template. After you practicing, remove this material number template and keep it blank. Okay, because it is going to impact the other materials. Okay. That is the reason I said that these activities need to be done whenever you get the plain system. This settings needs to be activated when you are in a plain system. Okay. Then this is the first config what we are going to do. Then we are going to come to the material type. Then we have defined attributes for material type. So here we are going to create the material type. So these are the standard material types which are there. So there are no 538 material types. These all are created. The list which I have given in the PPT, those only are the standard. To search the standard, you can click on this position, put FERT, you will find, put ROH, you will find. So if you want to search the standard, you can search in this way because there are some 30 people who are practicing this server and now you guys are added additionally. So the data will be a bit huge. Okay. So to create the material type, select or always select ROH. Whatever type you're going to create that is secondary, but always select ROH and click on this copy. So this will take you to this screen. Okay. So put the name whatever you prefer here in the material type. So one more thing which I forgot to mention is whenever you're going to create the custom apart from standard, for example, we have the material type. We have some 14 or 13 material types which are there in standard. Apart from standard, if you're creating any custom, then we should always start that from Z or Y. That is SAP standard. So that whenever you're going to see that material type, system will understand or any other person will understand that this is a custom created. So for example, I put Z B15. Okay. And I'll name it as batch 15 material. Okay. Then we have this product type group. What is product type group? The product type group is nothing but what is this? This is a material or service or subscription. So if you know this material type is going to be material, then select material here. If you know that this is going to be service, then select service. If you know that it's subscription, for example, when I say subscription, it is like Amazon Prime subscription, or if you're installing any antivirus or Norton. So for every software, you need to buy a subscription. If you feel that this is a material, this is a software material type, then select this. As of now, if you don't know it is going to be material service, then always keep it as blank. You can decide later on. Okay. Then you have this field reference. This section is going to decide in your material master, when you're creating a material here, what is mandatory and what is not mandatory. So when you're creating here, this symbol, you can see this symbol, a box, a small box and a tick. If you have this symbol, then this field is a mandatory. In other fields, you don't have this option. For example, if I click enter, system will ask to fill the mandatory field, which is description. So I fill, for example, now the material group and the division is mandatory. I click enter. System is asking me to fill the material group. I fill. I click on enter again. System is asking me to fill the division. I fill it. Okay, base unit of measure. Apart from this, I don't see anything is mandatory. If I click enter, it will go to the next node. Until I fill the mandatory field, system will not move further. So that can be decided at this field reference range. So this field reference needs to be created separately and take that option and assign it over here. Okay. And then we have this external number, or let me take this authorization group. So authorization group is nothing but you are giving rights to some person to use this transaction. So authorization group is handled by the HR consultant. So you will put a number here, for example, 0001, and give this number to the HR consultant or the basis consultant and tell him that wherever you see this 0001, that should be provided access to this person. And only that person will have the access for it. Okay. Then you have this external number assignment without check. Whenever we check this, always you need to enter the material number. System will not pick the number automatically. You need to enter the number manually. So I don't check this. So system can take the number automatically. Then we have this X material status. So yesterday also we saw this field in your material master when you're creating a material. So you need to decide this material type. Whenever you're creating a material in this material type, is it going to be in the design phase? It is going to be at a use phase or obsolete. It is going to be obsolete or phase out. When you're creating a material type, no one is going to set this material status because a material type will not have any status. The individual material will have the status. So when you create a material type, no one is going to maintain this option. Whenever you create a material individually, at that point of time, you're going to maintain the status. Okay, but still you have an option to maintain the status here. But just remember, if anyone in the business asks you, can we maintain the status at the material type level, you can maintain. Okay. Then you have the item category. Now we said that this is the new material type, and we have categorized this material type. If you want to still category the material into different sections, like is this material going to be make to order or make to stock? So what is make to order? Make to order is nothing but whenever you receive a customer order, only then you will place an order to supplier. Make to stock is nothing but whenever you are not going to place the order when customer order comes, you will always place an order and keep it in the stock. So you have third party billing, you have lease, you have retailer packaging. So you can decide this material is going to be what category of the material. This also you don't want to define at material type level. You can define this at individual material level. Okay, so these are the important in this general data. Then coming to special material type, I'm going to completely skip this special material type because as of now, we are not using this. Going forward, we will be using when we go to special procurement. Until that, I'll park this separately. Then we have this user department. So this user department is going to decide the views of the material. So for example, in ROH, you are not able to see the sales view. In FERT, you're going to see the sales view because here you are going to have, okay, it is already exists. So Z, okay. So here you will have a sales view here. So yesterday we discussed regarding we have basic view, we have purchasing view, we have sales view, we have stock. So these are the views. If you enable the view here, only then the view will be enabled in the front end. So you can control what an end user need to see, what information you need to fill. If you want the costing, you can enable the costing. If you don't want MRP, you can disable the MRP. And I also don't want this warehouse management. I can uncheck this so that I'll be able to see only specific views. Okay, this is a views where I can set. Then I have this internal or external purchase order. So internal external purchase order is nothing, but this is mainly used for manufacturing industry. Now you have a material, you are going to manufacturing it internally, and also you're going to purchase that from supplier. In that case, you can decide it is externally purchased. If you put 2 here, that is nothing but it is externally purchased. Okay, I can purchase externally. And you have internal purchase order. It is also 2. That means you can also internally manufacturing it. So in business case, you will have some materials which you can only procure from vendors. You will not be able to manufacturing internally. In that case, you will put 2 in the external purchase order and remove this internal purchase order. Or you can tell no internal purchase order allowed. So this is going to decide this material type is procured with vendors or it is manufactured internally. Okay. This class type I'll explain when we move to the batch management. Now we have this valuation. So this valuation is nothing but how are we going to have the pricing of this material type? So in SAP, we have 2 types of pricing. One is standard price and one is moving average price. So what is standard price and what is moving average price? So standard price is nothing but the price which is not going to get changed day by day. For example, if I take an example, of laptop. You are seeing a laptop in Amazon. You are checking the same laptop every day. Every day you see the same price. It is not going to get changed. Sometimes, if it is a festival season, then you may get a discount. Or when a sale is happening, you get a discount. At that point, only at that point of time, the price gets changed. So it is not frequently getting changed. It is getting per year, it is getting changed only once or twice. In that case, that type of price is called as standard price. Now, let's have the moving average price example. The moving average price is nothing but the price which is getting changed day by day. Every day the price gets changed. The best example is the gold. Today, if you see the price of gold, it will be for example, 5,500. And if you see tomorrow, it might increase or it might decrease. Every day you don't see the same price. Every day the price will be keep on changing. So those type of materials are called as, or the pricing type is called as moving average price. So what is the advantages if you maintain that? Now, today you're buying the material with 100. Let me take standard example, standard. You are telling standard. Standard. You are telling the standard price of material is 100. You start purchasing with 100. After some days, you buy for 150. After some days, you buy again for 120. And 100 again. So what all difference amount you have? For difference amount is 50 here, 20 here, 0 here. So this amount is going to fall under the price difference account, the profit and loss account. So whenever you're buying for more price, then it will show as loss. Whenever you're buying for less amount, then it will show as profit. This is standard. If I take an example of moving average, let me take same example 100. You are buying it for 100, 150, 120. So system will not post any profit and loss in any of the account. What system will do is, system will take an average of this value. System will take an average of these 4 values. And this price will get updated here. It will replace this 100. After you place these 4 purchase orders, after you buy this material 4 times with different price, And if you go back and see the material master, you will not be able to see this 100. You will be able to see this 117. So system is auto adjusting the price based on the purchases what you're doing. But in standard, the price will always remain the same. In moving average price, based on the purchase you do, the price will get updated based on the average. So this is the standard price and the moving average price. So this is a big discussion with business. So you need to explain what is standard price, what is moving average price, and then make business understand which material is going to be standard, which material is going to be moving average price. If you don't have idea that at this point, or whenever I'm creating a material type, I don't have idea, this should be standard or moving average price, then you are always ready to keep it as blank. So if business is not able to figure out at this stage, then you can keep it as blank. Okay. Then you have the account category reference. As of now, maintain account category reference as 0001. We have a different session planned on this account category reference, which is called as automatic account determination. You can check in your syllabus. So we have a dedicated session on that. We will discuss this individual field there. Okay. So these are the important fields which we are going to maintain in the material type. And I'm going to save this. Okay. So this is what I created, ZM45. After you create a material type, select this material type, go to this quantity and value updating. One second. Now we have just created this material type. We have not said this, we are going to buy or we are going to sell this material. So to tell we are going to buy and sell, so you need to come to this quantity and value updating, and you are going to decide, are you going to buy, are you going to sell, or how are we going to maintain these values? So when you buy, the quantity is getting updated. So we have two material types which we discussed yesterday, a non-valuated material and a non-stock material. So I said that non-valuated will not have any value. Non-stock will not have any stock. So that is the stock and the value. This quantity updating is a stock updating. Value updating is a value update. So whenever you purchase this material type or any material coming under this material type, do we have the stock getting updated? Do we have the value getting updated? If yes, come to this and select your plant and enable this quantity and value updating. This is very, very important. If you don't enable this quantity and value updating, then you will not be able to purchase this material. Whenever you're creating a material, if you get any error saying that material ledger not activated or enter the account assignment, in that case, you need to understand that the quantity update is not done and the value update is not done. You are not authorized to buy this material. Okay, I'll save this. So this is how we are going to create the material type. So I defined three sections. One is creating the material type, creating the number ranges, creating the field selection. Now we covered how to create a material type. Let me take a quick pause here. If you have any questions, let me take those and then move to the second config node. Any questions?
Sir, very good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Sir, you are creating for material type, no? So why you
Yes,
are putting a Z, sir? Is it other any new? If you are buying any new material, or then which condition we are using for Z, sir?
that is an SAP standard. Apart,
Okay.
yesterday I showed you some standard material types, right? We have
Yeah.
ROH, raw
Yes, sir.
material,
Yes, sir.
semi-finished, all those things.
Yeah.
So all
Yeah.
those things are standard. SAP is giving them predefined. We are not doing anything there. Apart from that, if we have a requirement from business to differentiate the material into different category, then we need to create a
Okay.
material type. So to differentiate that, or to say a consultant, for example, now you are a consultant, you are
Yeah.
working and designing the system. After some days, you
Okay.
might leave.
Okay.
You might get a new, better opportunity, and you will move out of the company and you will join a new company. In
Okay.
your place, the other person is going to replace.
Yeah.
So whenever he comes and sees the system, he should understand what is custom, what is standard. So if we
Okay.
create anything what you create custom, if you maintain with Z, then
Okay.
the consultant will understand that this is always a custom. To differentiate standard and custom, we use Z and Y. And
Okay.
that is also an SAP standard to always use Z and Y.
Okay, sir. And one more question. You are telling standard price and moving average price. So then
Yes.
how we ensure is it a standard price? Is it um,
Yeah, that's what I explained. That depends on the material. If
okay,
business is doing a gold business,
okay,
take an example of Darshan Orna. Darshan Orna
okay,
is a biggest gold business. Uh, Gold business of hotel. They're doing a gold business function. So they deal with crores. So they want to implement SAP. Their material will always be moving average. Because if the material price is getting changed day by day, then that is always a moving average.
okay,
Let us take an example of Dell now. Dell want to implement SAP.
okay,
In Dell, you have the products of laptop. The laptop
okay,
price is not getting changed day by day. In that case, you can maintain that as standard. That depends on the material, not on the business.
okay,
So for each and every material, you need to decide, or business is going to decide. You are not going to decide it. So business is going to
okay,
decide and let you know that you need to maintain the moving average price or you need to maintain the standard price.
okay, sir. And initially, one more doubt, sir. You are creating for material type, no? So, zero Lexo, what is that? I forget that name.
Lexicographic.
Lexicographic, only for the numerical value, right? If you are
Mm.
giving numerical value, you have to, enable to the lexicographic, right?
No. If you want to create the alphanumerical, your
Or both
material number
combined.
should, yes. So
Okay,
if you
sir.
want to create your material an alphanumeric,
That time I have to enable to the that.
yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Uh, so you told now in S4 HANA 40 characters are being used, but why we are still using 18 characters, sir?
Because the number range what we are going to generate in SAP is still 18 characters. If I go to number range, you will be able to see still 18 characters. If business still need 40 characters to be used, then you need to request SAP to extend that number range characters.
Okay. And initially in the logistics general page, you created a material code 8086.
Yes.
So what is the relation between that and creating a material type, sir?
Yeah, you just created a material type now. For example, if I show my presentation again, so I said here, first we are going to create the material type individually. We did this. Now we have the number range of material. So now we are going to decide from what number to what number this material type should have. So if I do the second set of configuration, then you will understand what is the relationship between number and the material type.
Okay.
Now we have just created the material type that is individual. Now there is no
Okay.
number allotted. For example, if I go to SAP and try to create a material using ZM45. This system is taking still the same number because we copied the material type from a PRT. You can have this number generated on your own. You can decide from which number to which number you want this to be selected. So that we are going to do in the second set of configuration.
Okay. And the field selections, like that basic data to those things and all. Here, when you are creating a material type, you didn't check on that point. So whenever, if you like in a real time basis, if we want to create that field checks, we have to enable it, right, sir?
These are not the field selection. These are the user departments. That is nothing but the views. So
Okay.
now, whenever I'm creating a material, for example, if I go to MM01 again and select this ZM45, I can see just these views enabled. Only these views are there. Now,
Okay.
assume that I want some more views to be added. So I'll come to this. I'll add this view, MRP view. I'll add the sales view. I'll add the warehouse view and save this. And if I re-trigger the same transaction, so now I can see more fields coming, more views coming. So you have MRP coming, you have sales coming, you have the warehouse coming. So based on the
Okay.
user department, you can decide your views.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And I have a question in the chat. Material number template was taking preceding zeros for underscore. Can we edit this number manually? Yes, that is the second set of configuration. So that we will discuss in the number range concept or number range configuration node. Any more question?
Sir, sir, hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, you, you told me, I mean, only 8 material type, material fitted on 18 digit, right?
Yes.
If it is more than 18 means later on we can edit that, sir. If I'm
No, that is
wrong,
the reason. No, that is the reason I'm telling. So it is always one-time activity.
okay,
It is also always one-time activity for the business.
okay,
We cannot change going forward.
oh, so Preciously we can fix it, right? That
Sorry?
number. I mean, very consciously to, I mean, fill this to create the material, right? Like a number range and everything.
Number range we will discuss regarding number range. Keep the number range aside
Not,
as of
not,
now.
no, sir. That 18, you told me na 18 numbers. I mean, digit.
Yes.
It's not editable. It's a fixed one, right?
Yes. It is not fixed, it is editable, but it needs to be edited based on the business requirement only once. It cannot be keep on changing.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So that is the reason these are the pre-checks which you need to do.
Okay.
And regarding the MRP view, we have an MRP session dedicatedly planned. So we will discuss the MRP discussion there. Okay, any more questions? Okay, if no questions, then let me move to the second set of configuration, which is number range. The configuration of number range is done bit below here, define number range for each material type. So if you execute this, you can see this intervals. So you can see these are the number ranges which are already there in system. So if I take an example of 1, you can see here, this is starting from 1 to 700. So whenever you're starting from 1 to 700, this is a number range. You can create the material from 1 to 700. Okay. And if you take this is having this 7 series till only 709. It is already consumed. So this is the from where you want to start the number, from where you want to end the number. Okay. So if I take a huge big number, you can see here, this has 18 characters or 18 digit, starting from 18 digit and ending with 18 digit. So if you want to have this 18 digit, then you can go with this number range. So system is already given you some number ranges here. So you can use those. Initially, when you buy a system from SAP, so you will not be able to see all this. You will be able to see everything as blank. So you need to create the number range. So how are we going to create that? So you need to go to this overview. So you will be able to see which number range is assigned for which material type. Now, if you want to create, you need to go to this edit. You have this create option, create group. So click on create. Give your group name. Okay. And give your name here. For example, I put EN. And from and to. You don't know what is the from and to you need to put. So this number is going to get decided from business. So business will tell for raw material, I want to use this number from this number to this number. So you will create each and every material, each and every number ranges based on the material type and save. Then you have this NR status. NR status is nothing but what is the number which is running now. For example, when I create a material now, I had 8087 something. So that number will get updated in the number status. So it is going to tell what is the last number which is consumed. and what is going to be next number. And here you have this internal or external. So if you enable this external, that means you are going to enter the number manually. Whenever you see internal number range is nothing but the number is coming from SAP system automatically. If you have external number range, then that means you are going to enter it manually. Okay. Suppose now let us go to this interval. Here you will see some free intervals. You check this. There are, if you have any free intervals which can be used, for example, if you can see here, I have this number I can use. So I will select this, click enter. This number will come here. I'll remove this. I'll use this. So I don't want external, I want internal. So let me go back. Let me create it again. If I put external, what happens? System will always ask me to create. So system is saying there is no free intervals now. So let me do one thing. Let me put some number and check. Now system is saying no intervals. So let me do one thing. Let me figure out. So here you have some number range. So this is not preferable, but I need to do it now because I need to create a number range for you. Let me do one thing. Let me stop sharing because this is not preferable. This is not standard. I'm going out of standard and manipulating the system. I don't want you guys to see this because when you start doing this, and one more thing I want to highlight here, don't mess up with the number range. If you are messing up with number range, by mistake, if you are creating a number and if you want to delete it, you will not be able to delete it. If you want to delete it, you need to reach out to SAP and get that deleted. And SAP will charge you something to delete that number. So that is the reason I don't prefer you guys to play with the number range. Okay. So let me do one thing. Okay, let me share my screen back. So remember that whenever you are creating the number range, create it once you get the final go from the business. If you are creating the number range without final go from business, and if business wants to change the number range, then it should be done by the SAP side only. You will not be able to delete the number range by your own. It should always done. It's always being done by the SAP. Okay. Now I go to edit mode. I create. I put a group name, and I am creating a number range. And I figure it out. This is the number I have. I take this number and put it over here. I want the internal number range to be there. I don't want external number range. Okay. I'm going to save it. So my group is bus 15 and the number range name is VN. I'm going to save this. Okay. If you get this error, the number is overlapping. That means this F54 is also having the same number range. So let me go and check that 54. So figuring out the number range in our system is very, very difficult. So I'll just show how to create the number range. Okay. Okay. Now let me try to save this. Okay, it got changed, it got saved. Now this is the number range I created. So whenever I create a material, I want this number to be there. I just created the material number range now. It is not assigned to anything. So now I save this, I go back. Now my business will tell that we have created a custom material type, which is ZM45. For this ZM45, I want this number range to be assigned. So let me go back, come here, define number range, go to this edit, click on find, put ZM45, select your material type here, click on this assign element to group. So this screen will get open. These all are the internal number range. These all are the external number range. So we created the internal number range. So search for the VN what we created. So you will have it below. So we have it here, which is batch 15. So I select this. As soon as I select, the material type will go and fall under that number range. For example, if you see here, if I put scroll up, so you have VN here and ZM45 coming under this number range. I'll save this and go back. Now, if I try to create a material, initially I had 8086. So now if I go to MM01 and try to create, internal number range already exists. Is this an internal number range what I created? Let me check once. I created an external number range. Okay, once the 22 is the used one. Okay, there is an issue with number ranges. There is an issue with the number range. So I cannot use this VN which I created. Just make a note how to create the number range. See, the number is getting skipped from one place to other place. So we will not be able to use this number range. So just check how to create a number range, but we'll be using the standard number range which is used for FERT. Okay, so let me reassign the number. I'll go to edit mode again and find FERT and check for this FERT what is the number range assigned SSPL 28. So I assign the same for my material type also, ZM45 28. And save. Okay, I try to create this. So this is how you need to create the number range, but you're not able to create the number range, select any number range from here in this list, any number range which is having more. For example, this has 7300 and it is ending from 73500. It is used only 73009. So you can go with this. So assign this with your number, with your material type. In the same way, try to figure out which number range you can use and which is still having more number to use. So you can go ahead and use that number range. So you now have shown how to create the number range, but you guys will not be able to create the number range, but try to create the number range if you can create the number range. If you're not able to create the number range, then go ahead with this number ranges what we have already created. Because initially when we get a plain system, it is easy to create the number range. As 30 people are already using this system, they have already created some number ranges and those cannot be deleted and those cannot be edited. So I prefer you guys to use the number ranges which is already created. Okay. Understand what is the difference between internal number range and external number range? Always select the number range which is not enabled as external. Okay, so system will directly take that number. Any questions here in number range? I know it is a bit confused, but watch this once or twice, so you will have an idea. In our system, we will not be able to create the number range. In business system, you will be able to create the number range. But be careful while we create the number range because we cannot delete going further. Okay. Any questions? Okay. If no questions, then I'll move to the field selection. Field selection are nothing but here in the material, when you create a material, when we create a material, for example, these fields are mandatory. So how are we going to decide this field is mandatory and this field is optional? Even this information will be given by business to us, saying that this field should be this field should be mandatory, this field should be non-mandatory. So based on their decision, we are going to set our field selection. So how can we set the field selection? So in the config, you have this option called as field selection in the logistics general. Go to the material master. You have this field selection. So field selection can be done in two levels. One is at the client level, one is at the plant level. So for example, why we have two levels is if business is asking that I want to make this field mandatory across all the plants, all the company codes. In that case, you are going to make this field mandatory at the transaction code level. I'll do both things and show you. For example, let us try first in all the plants, all the company codes. So in the client level. So to do that, I will go to this maintain field selection data screen. This is a config, maintain field selection for data screen. So here you will have a lot of fields. So SAP is having a lot of fields, as I mentioned, 3000 fields for material master. So as of now, let me take the same old example, which is old material number, which is not mandatory here. So to make it mandatory, you need to find the technical name of this field. To find the technical name of this field, you can right click on this field. You have help, or you also have a shortcut, which is F1, function 1 in your keyboard. You can click on that function 1. If you click on help, this tab will get open. Here you have an option called technical information. If you select this, then this screen will get open. Here you will have the technical information. So take this DynaPro. This is the table and the field name. So copy this and go to the config. field selection group. So find this, select this, enter. So if you see here, as soon as I put that field, this old material number is visible here. So if we want to make this field mandatory at the level of client level for all the company codes, then go to position here, select the transaction of the creation of material and make it required entry here. So we have 4 options, which is optional entry, which is not mandatory, required entry, which is mandatory, display. It will just display, but you will not be able to enter any information there. Then you have hide. Hide is nothing but you can completely hide that field. You will not be able to see that field. First, let us try the required entry. So I'm putting required entry and saving this. I'm making this field as a mandatory field. Now, if I go and check, I cancel this. I cancel this. Go back. Enter. Basic data. Enter. So you can see here now the old material number is also mandatory. If you want to test, I put the material group. See, a system is asking me to enter the old material number because I've just made this old material number as mandatory. Whatever plant you put, in whichever plant you create this material, the system will always ask you to enter this old material number. Because we have made this field mandatory at the client level, at the transaction code level. So this is how we are going to define the field is mandatory or not mandatory at the client level. So now if we go to the plant level, so first to make it active at plant level, you need to deactivate at the client level. So I will deactivate it and save. To maintain at the plant level, you have 2 options. You need to go to this plant specific field selection. And here you need to assign your field reference. So before that, go to the same node maintain field selection. Select this field. Now we want to play with the same field, old material number. Click on new entries. Create a field reference. Okay. And your selection group was 11. 11 is nothing but the old material number. So I will make it required entry and save this. So ZM45 is my field reference. Copy this. And go to the option of define plant specific. Find your plant and put it in the plant field and save. Okay. Now if I go back and show you how it works in the front end, I go to create material again. I'll not save this. I go to MM01. I put the same material type. Now I select the basic data, purchasing, plant data because I want to activate the plant now. So plant data, org level. I'll put the other plant. For example, this plant. Okay, why it is still active for this? Then for this plant also it is activated. And plant specific. Can you guys give me your plant and one of your plant? Okay, there is no plant of 1995. Basic data. Let me check if it is deactivated. No, it is not deactivated. Let me go and check why it is not deactivated at the client level. At the client level, it is not deactivated. Let me check. Okay, it is not deactivated yet. So I'll make it optional entry and save it. Okay, now it is deactivated. I go back and try it again. Let me check if it is deactivated at the client level. If it is deactivated at the client level, only then I can activate the plant level. Okay, now it is deactivated. Now if I go to MM01, I'll select the basic data, purchasing, and the plant data. I put other plant for which it is not activated, which is 1995, activated for 1994. So you can see it is not mandatory. The mandatory symbol is not coming here. I go back. Now I select my plant, which is 1994. Same basic data, purchasing, general plant, and accounting. And I select my plant. For my plant, it is mandatory. For all other plants, it is not mandatory. Only for my plant, it is mandatory. So this is how you can manage at the plant level. So field selection is at client level and the plant level. If you maintain that at the client level, so everyone will have the same functionality. So if you do it at plant level, then it will have only impact at the plant level. Okay. Some business will have a requirement saying that in this plant, I don't want this field to be maintained, but in this plant, I want this to be maintained. In that case, you can go with the plant level. If business is saying in all over the SAP system, I don't want this field to be edited or this field to be entered, then you can make at the client level. So this is how you are going to manage the field selection. So client level and the plant level. And one request from you guys is if you are doing at client level, please revert it back so it will not impact others. You can practice at client level, but once you are done with your client level activities, remove the activities what you have done at client level. Do whatever you need with your company code, with your plant, anything, but don't do anything at the client level. It will impact everyone. Okay. Any questions? Someone has activated this division. I'm just deactivating it.
Hi, sir.
Yes.
So, whenever we are checking for this old material number, uh, in a real-time business scenario, so is it like, suppose the earlier material number is now changed to a new material number? So, at that particular time, can we use this functionality, or is there any other thing for this?
No. So in previous system, before you start using SAP system, you was using some other system. In those system, the material number was different. To map those, you will be using this field.
Okay,
Apart from this, I don't see any other reason to use this field.
okay. Thank you.
Yep. And I wanted to cover one more thing. So when we create a material, let me create a complete material. So here in the accounting view, we have this material ledger activated. If you guys try with your plant, for example, if I try with your plant, you will not be able to see this material ledger activated. Can someone give you a plant as an example so I can show that that it is not activated? Any one of you can give your plant? Okay. I have one plant in the chat. Let me take that. So for example, if I now it is activated, right? So now if I go and create a new material, E7C1. Okay. If I go to this and maintain the values, which are mandatory. And if I go to accounting view, you can see this is deactivated. You can just compare these two screens. It is activated here and this deactivated here. If anyone of you guys seeing this deactivated, then you need to check two things in your configuration. First thing, go to the material type. Go to the material type. Check the material type what you are using. For example, I'm using ZM45 now. And for this, go to quantity and value updating. And put your plant here, C7C1. For this, the quantity and value update is not updated. Activate this first checkpoint. If you are not seeing that material ledger activated. If you don't see that material ledger activated, you will not be able to do any of the activities with that material. Okay. And the second checkpoint. Second checkpoint is you need to activate the material ledger, but that is not our job. That is a finance job. But as we don't have the finance consultant here, we need to do it ourselves. So to do that material ledger activation, go to the transaction OMX3, add a new entry, put your plant. So it is C7C1. C7C1. And put the material ledger type as 9000. Your status will get converted to green. Save this. Suppose you do this, I'll put a transaction. First transaction is OMX3. So second transaction will be OMX3, the first transaction. Then second transaction is OMX1. So I go to the transaction of OMX1, find the plant, and here activate this material ledger and put the price difference as 2 and save this. Okay. After you do this two transaction, OMX3 and OMX1, then go to this transaction CKM start. I'm giving these three transactions in the chat. You can take a note. Okay. Go to this, put your plant, C7, C1. Uncheck this both and execute. Evaluation area unable to be locked. So there is an issue. What is the issue? One second. If you get this error, then you have done some mistake while you create the plant. So this is a company code /NOM, sorry, 601. Sometimes if you have multiple plants under the same company code, all the plants needs to be done at a single time. Only then it will work. So find. So he has only one plant. Okay, I think it is locked because I am using that plant here to create the material. For example, here it is locked. So let me close this material. This is a reason for sure. So let me close if anything is open regarding that plant. Nothing is open now. So let me try to do it now. CKM start. I put the same plant and execute. Now it will work. So if everything is getting green, if everything is showing as green, then that means the material ledger is activated. Now if I go and try to create a material, I'll select the basic data, purchasing, plant data, accounting data. I'll directly go and check the material ledger. If you see now it is activated. So these are the two checkpoints which you need to check whenever your material ledger is not activated or not showing it is activated. Okay, so do this activity before you create your materials. If not, the materials what you're creating is of no use. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Okay, if you guys don't have any questions, then this is a task or this is a assignment for this week. Create your own material type and then create the material using your material type and share the material with me. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. We'll wrap up here. We will meet next week to discuss on the new topic. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Thank you.
Sure, Venkatesh. Thank you.